And these questions are going to be from slide 11 and 12. How do we listen according to Philippians 2 3 through 4? So we want to make sure we don't do anything from rivalry or conceit, but in humility count others more significant than ourselves. So let each of us look not only to our own interests, but also to the interests of others. So I know that if you're in a conflict, it can be really easy to not want to listen to what the other person has to say, but you need to. Again, that perception thing is really important. You have to understand that they're probably not trying to hurt your feelings. There's a reason behind why they did or said whatever they did or said. And so also you owe them that much, like to explain themselves because they listened to you, they came here, they want to resolve the conflict. I That's what I think if they're there with you. So be humble. Don't consider it like, oh, they've hurt me. It's like they haven't hurt you. They've sinned against God. Like it's not between you and them, it's between them and God mostly. So be humble, count others more significant than yourselves. Don't just look to your own interest, but look to theirs as well. Don't just listen to try and figure out, like, okay, whose fault it is, or listen to their perception. So you can be like, okay, well, here's all these things you did wrong. Like, you owe it to them to listen because, like, they're a child of God too. Like, and we all make mistakes. Like, you're not the first person in the world to be hurt. So just listen. What does listening to respond mean, and why do we not want to do it? So, listening to respond means that you're mentally preparing what your response is going to be instead of actually listening to understand the other person's perspective. So, they may be explaining their side, like, oh, well, I said this because this thing happened, blah, 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 blah. But you don't hear the blah, 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 because as soon as they say this thing happened, you're busy thinking about all the reasons that they're wrong about that and thinking about what you're going to say instead to prove them wrong. And that's not good because you're not actually going to understand what they're saying. You're going to say something stupid because you didn't actually understand what they said because you're too busy thinking of your own response. So if you listen to understand and not just to respond, the conflict is going to have a much better chance of being resolved and you're actually going to gain understanding of their perspective. And without that understanding, there's still going to be conflict now and in the future. So you want to make sure you listen to fully understand what they're saying and then base your response off of that. What is the difference between passive and active voice? So, a sentence that's going to be written in the active voice means the subject of the sentence is performing the action. So, like, I'm sorry, I hurt your feelings. But, like, I'm the subject and I'm performing the actions. Yeah, like, I hurt your feelings. I did that. But in a subject written in the passive voice, the subject is receiving the action. So it's like, oh, I'm sorry that you were hurt. So it's like, oh, you're receiving it. You're the subject now. You are receiving the thing. So it doesn't really take responsibility for what's been done here. So an apology in the passive voice is putting off responsibility. It's like, oh, I'm sorry that you took it that way. It puts responsibility on the other person. But an apology in the active voice takes responsibility for their part in the conflict. So they're not saying, "Hey, I'm sorry I hurt your feelings. It's because I hate you and you're right. I am just really mean and I'm trying to make your life miserable." No, they're saying, "I'm sorry that I hurt your feelings, even though I didn't intend it, or here's what I actually meant. I am sorry that I hurt you." So it's just taking more responsibility for whatever the consequences are of the things that we say. And this is going to be the first question coming from slide 12. How can we voice solutions?